Hey guys, this is Substitute Topher filling in for the Topher today, and you join me in my latest purchase, a 2000 Mercedes-Benz ML55 AMG. Now, if you're a longtime subscriber of the Topher, you may recognize this car from a video that he filmed on it about a year and a half ago. This car was previously owned by a buddy of mine, and I just recently purchased it from him just a couple of weeks ago. It's been having a couple issues, which we'll get into later, but I figured I'd walk you around it and show you what I bought. So this ML55 was a super early adopter of the hot, high-performance SUV segment. In fact, a lot of people recognize it as the first one. So this is powered by a 5.4-liter naturally aspirated V8, makes just under 350 horsepower. Interesting that it's called the ML55, even though it's only a 5.4, but Mercedes is known for slightly inflating the names of their cars, like the newer AMGs that have a 6.2-liter, but they call them a 63. But anyways, we'll gloss over that for now. The exterior of the car is actually in pretty good shape. We've got normal rock chips up here. You know, this thing's got 180,000 miles on it, so really just normal wear and tear here on the front, some flaking clear coat and things like that. Silver is definitely the most common color on the ML55, but that's okay. It seems to have held up pretty well as well. I love the style of wheels that Mercedes used to do back in the 90s and early 2000s, these big, chunky monoblock 5-spoke wheels, and I'm so happy to have them on my ML55. Such a timeless and cool design. Oh, also, we have red brake calipers behind these big monoblock wheels. They came red from the factory, and they say Mercedes-Benz on them too, as you can see in between those thick, chunky spokes there. Also got some AMG script there on the wheel. Oh, these are terrible. I don't know who put these on. Previous owner, or maybe they were a dealer accessory. They're these really, really bad, flimsy, slicey chrome door handle covers, which I will be removing as soon as I get a chance. The overall state of the interior is pretty nice. This, 22-year-old Mercedes leather, or MB Tex, or whatever this material is, has held up pretty well. Even on the driver's seat, a little bit of dye has lifted, but overall, there's no rips or tears or anything. And for a 22-year-old car, it actually doesn't look too bad in here at all. The radio works. There's a little cassette to aux. Got your little lightning port there to plug in and listen to your music. Plenty of wood trim, but it's not overdone. The steering wheel has held up well as well. Wood trim on there, which I really like. I love a good wood steering wheel. Oh, the anime stickers, those were not me. Those were my buddy that owned this before me. So what do you think? Should I keep them on there? I'm not the biggest fan of stickers on cars, so I'll probably end up taking quite a bit of these off. Oh, yes. This, I think we can fix that, actually. I have something here I can change the 3 to a 4, and then it will actually suit me quite a bit better. 4. Now it will be custom tailored to me now, because this, of course, will be a fact. Oh, it's a little bit big, but whatever. Okay, that's fixed now. AMG script on the back, ML55 badge there. Little dent here in the hatch from the previous owner before my buddy was towing a boat, and the trailer came up and smashed into the hatch, but somehow this plastic trim piece wasn't hit, so not too bad there. Speaking of towing, we do have a tow hitch on this car, and it's rated for about 5,000 pounds, so not the biggest capacity, but you have to remember this is a high-performance SUV. It's not really set up to tow, but 5,000 pounds allows you to comfortably tow things like a boat or jet skis or things like that, or maybe a Miata on a super light car trailer. Pretty light hatch, and this is where the spare wheel would normally mount, but it is missing. This cover rattles quite a bit when you're driving. It's quite irritating. All right. Check out the back seat after we admire the other. Oh, yeah, that's right. That door doesn't open. You gotta love these early 2000s German cars and their different quirks and things. We'll test out the back seat on this side. That door does open, you just have to open it from the inside, so. Not the biggest back seat, honestly. Actually, let's scoot over because this seat is adjusted for me. I'm 5'11". So, you know, there's enough room back here for some adults to ride. You've got plenty of headroom back here, but it's so funny being in this, which at the time was Mercedes' biggest SUV, if you don't count the G-Wagon. This car nowadays, the GLE, is quite a bit bigger, and if you park this car, we're driving a Volvo XC40 this week, and it's about the same size as that thing, which is Volvo's smallest SUV. So it's crazy to see how much bigger these SUVs have gotten. I don't mind the size of this, though. I think proportionately it looks pretty nice from the outside. It's not too bad. Look at that, cup holders there. This is probably an ashtray. Oh, with ashes in it. Lovely. That could explain the mild smell of cigarettes back here. Tasty. Okay. Let's go ahead and hop out here. So now let's get on to why I'm at my garage and I'm not out on the open road going for a test drive. We will go for a short drive around the complex here, but this car is having a little bit of an issue. So let's go ahead and fire it up here. It's cool, Mercedes gave you a Switchblade key back in 2000. This one is, of course, broken, so you can't put it on any sort of keychain or anything, but at least the Switchblade function still works as it should. AMG cluster here, 160 miles an hour indicated on the cluster. That would be incredibly scary, I think, in this 22-year-old SUV, but maybe at the time it could have gone close to that speed. You can see our whole line of warning lights there. And this thing fires up with ease. There's no problem when it comes to just starting. Driver's window works as it should, but we do have a check engine light and a couple of other lights, which actually these lights are on due to a sensor that's unplugged for like the automatic rollover detection or something. It locks up the brakes if you have the sensor in. We need a new sensor for that. But anyways, we do have a check engine light, and you can see the car's idling a little bit rough. So what I've been doing, I've been using this fixed sensor. I know you guys have heard us talk about this on the channel before, but when you have a fleet of hoopties, it's so important to have a trusty OBD reader to figure out, why is my car idling terribly? Why is my check engine light on? So it's nice and convenient to just use this fixed sensor, because it just travels around with you. It's very small. You can fit it in your pocket or in your center console, or if you wanted to put it in your 2000s Mercedes cup holder, I suppose you could do that as well. But it's just the easiest solution. Oh, and I've gotten some Coke residue on it or something. Not that kind of Coke, I mean Coca-Cola. So we just take this guy and we plug him in down here, like so. Open up our fixed app and we can just tap to scan. It's that easy. Your car does have to be running so it can gather all of the data that it needs to gather. Communicate here and see what's going on with this check engine light. Wow, okay, we have quite a few engine codes in here right now. And I'll kind of explain why I believe we have all of these issues. So O2 sensor, that can be explained because the previous owner of this car gutted the cats, allegedly, if the US government is watching. The catalytic converters are in perfect shape. Anyways, we have a couple of misfires, cylinder 5, 6, and 7, and then we also have a random misfire code. What I like about Fix too is you can click on the actual code and it'll tell you what it is. Random misfire, severe issue, consequences of continued driving, engine may hesitate, vibrations harder to start, whatever. The most convenient part about all of this for me is the fact that, you know, if you have a crappy code reader from O'Reilly that pops up and it's like P0300, okay, well, what does that mean? You then have to go into Google 2000 Mercedes ML55 AMG, P0300, what is that? Then you have to go through all of these extra steps that Fixed allows you to skip. We have all of it laid out right here. I can see what cylinders are misfiring. I can see my O2 sensor code. And also what's cool is it tells you how big of an impact it is. This O2 sensor is a minor issue. You know, it's not too big of a deal. It's an emissions thing. It's not necessarily going to affect the way the car runs. But all of these misfire codes, well, they certainly do. So it's nice to know all of these issues are present with the car. And if you want to dig even deeper, you can get an explanation of your code. It explains what a cylinder is. You can even go in, schedule a service, upvote or downvote if it was helpful, and I don't know, guys, this is just something that's really easy. You don't have to go through all of the extra steps that you do with just a traditional code reader. All right, so now that we've gone over that this car is misfiring on many cylinders, at least half of them, why don't we go out and take it for a little bit of a drive. It doesn't always misfire. These are stored codes in the car's brain, and it's nice that Fixed brings these to your attention, even though the car is clearly not misfiring right now. The car knows that it has been misfiring in the past. So thank you to Fixed for sponsoring today's video. And since you guys are subscribers of TheTopher, you can click our affiliate link in the description and pick up one of these sensors for only 20 bucks. This is normally a $60 sensor. And well, TheTopher subscribers get a special treat, and you're able to get it for only $20. All right, what do you guys say we take this ML55 out on the road and see how it actually drives? It's a little bit hit and miss. It's very inconsistent the way that it drives. Sometimes we have all of the power, sometimes we have none. So I'm trying to figure out what's actually going on with this thing. A little bit of hesitation there, although it seems like right now it actually wants to drive. All right. This is the worst kind of issue to have with a car, one that isn't consistent, because then it's just the most frustrating thing in the world to try and figure out what's actually going on with it. I'll be honest, the steering's a little bit loose. I think this thing needs some front suspension bushings pretty badly. Let's hope that once I actually get somewhat far away, it doesn't decide to break down and then not start again. Ugh, that's about all the power I've got. When this car is actually running properly, it's surprisingly quick for a 22-year-old SUV, and I'll make sure to link TheTopher's video in the description of when he drove this ML55, and you can see what this car is like when it's at its full potential and when it's running on all 8 cylinders and all 342 brake horsepower. This is flat out. That's my top end right there. 42 miles an hour? Oof. It is unhappy. It is very unhappy. I'm only driving this right now to show you guys what it's doing. I have not been driving it around broken like this, because that is certainly not good to do on any cars. But it's a real shame, because it cruises nice and smooth down the road here at 35 miles an hour. Go ahead and turn around, head back to the garage. That is a good sounding V8, even at low RPMs. This particular ML55 has a mid muffler delete. This is almost a straight through exhaust. We do still have the big muffler in the back, but man, if you cut that muffler off, this thing would be mostly straight piped. Future goals for the ML55? Well, obviously, we first want to get this misfire issue taken care of so it's actually running properly and up to its full potential. But I think it would be awesome to take this thing to Silver Lake sand dunes, put some all-terrain tires on it or something, some more aggressive tires that could handle the sand, because the tires on it right now are pretty bald and dry rotted. Even taking it to Holly Oaks, where we took the F-150 Tremor and the Jeep Wrangler 392. This thing would be a blast out there as well. You can get past all of the interior shimmies and rattles. I'm sure you guys have been listening to this thing just creak and flex and everything else as I've been driving. Good old 20-year-old Mercedes SUV. Wouldn't want to have it any other way. Let's actually go over here. We'll end our video over here. Oh yes, listen to all that early 2000s plastic creak. I do love the steering wheel though. I love a steering wheel that's got some good wood on the top and bottom. All right guys, well, let's go ahead and shut it off here. Put our Switchblade key back. And we'll do one more little walk around of this ML55. Ooh, it smells kind of hot. That was another issue my buddy mentioned to me. That sometimes when he was sitting in drive-thrus or traffic, the temperature would slowly creep up. Not too much above half, but maybe it just needs a coolant flush or something like that. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. This has been a little bit of a short and unusual video for the TOPher, but I wanted to introduce you all to my newest project. So comment down below if you have any ideas of what's going on with the car, what could be causing those misfires, or whatever's going on with it. Also comment if you have any ideas for things that I should do with or to the ML55 AMG. I've always wanted to own an AMG car, and I'm super stoked to have this ML55 as my first one. So hopefully we can get it running properly and get you guys a really good series going on this ML55 AMG. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. This has been Substitute TOPher filling in for the TOPher, and we'll see you soon in the next video. Take care.